In this video, I'm going to talk about speedrunning an AI art app, where I was able to build a generative AI art experience app for a 300-person meetup in just a couple hours. I especially want to focus on the tools I used to build this app, which is bolt.new, an AI no-code platform running a huge hackathon, Supabase, a popular open source database, and Replicate, a popular way to run open source AI image generation models. But before we cover the tech, I do think it'd be valuable to walk through the app that I made. As you can see, it's called Storytime with Robots, and we ask 4 simple questions. What are your greatest fears about AI? A Mad Lib style question where we ask, at some point we stopped believing blank and started believing blank. A third question about what would be a breakthrough moment where we saw how AI could be used for a better world. And finally, in one sentence, what headline would make you feel like we've made it in AI? After those images are generated, they're all collected and organized by act, so we can review all the fears that people submitted, all the hopes that people submitted. So it's kind of a community experience where everyone's fears and hopes are visualized and collected together. So at the meetup, everyone can experience everyone else's emotions via AI images. This app was not my idea. It comes from a meetup called Machine Cinema, led by Min Du, which is an AI art meetup, which I've attended to do fun things like learn how to make AI music videos. Check out Machine Cinema, linked in the description. But it would be an understatement to say Min's request came at the last minute, as he messaged me Sunday night hoping to have a prototype by the next afternoon. In the past, I might have said this timing was too tight, but I knew that not only are AI coding tools making MVPs faster than ever, I knew that bolt.new was having a massive hackathon with 1 million in prizes, and this seemed like a perfect, fun, simple entry to start with. So to start this project, I went to bolt.new and I took the PRD, the document that describes what the product should look like, and I just dumped it in there. And what you'll find is that in terms of putting basic front-end UIs together, bolt.new is very good. It pretty much gave us exactly what we needed on the first try, other than the backend parts to wire up to replicate to generate images and the database aspects to save the information we create. One question I asked is, why would we use Replicate for AI images when we could use OpenAI, which has an image generation API? The answer is that OpenAI images are very good, but slow and expensive. Replicate hosts open source models with better options and trade-offs between quality, speed, and cost. For good images, we could use the Flux Pro model in Replicate, but to save money and have the app work faster, we went with the Flux Schnell model. Now, this project has made me into a big Bolt fan for building front ends, but I do want to provide an unbiased review, and adding Replicate was definitely the most painful part. Bolt excels on things it's built for, like front ends and first-class integrations like Supabase, but adding code for Replicate had problems. It didn't realize there was a recommended NPM package for Replicate. Ultimately, I wrote my own code locally to use the Replicate API, and then I provided that sample code to Bolt to get it working. But one really positive thing about Bolt's limitations is that you can synchronize to GitHub, and you can also download your project. So if you do ever run into problems, you can try to work with the code on a different platform and either bring it back to Bolt or bring it to a new platform. But even though there were problems with Replicate, my mind was blown by how well Supabase worked. It quickly created a database schema to store the questions, answers, and images for each of our submissions. It used Supabase Edge functions to create a serverless API endpoint that would protect our Replicate API key. At one point, we realized the image links were broken because we were using Replicate URLs, which are not meant to serve significant traffic. In one prompt, I asked Bolt to download the images from Replicate and save them in Supabase storage, and it worked perfectly, which was the moment that both most impressed me in this project. The AI art app is for a Friday meetup, so I don't want to spoil it too much by over promoting it in this video. I'm personally most excited to build tools to grow on YouTube. I only have 31 subscribers after 8 videos. I love to work on that by building YouTube tools with AI, starting with a YouTube thumbnail generator that I started on bolt.new as my next project. I'm also curious for anyone watching this video if you'd like to see more tutorials on more explicit instruction on how to build on places like bolt.new, or if you're more interested in watching stories about the apps I built on platforms like Bolt. Thanks for watching, and there is a written version of this video on my Substack at www.aiengineering.report. And I appreciate likes, comments, shares on YouTube and Substack. Thank you.